With E3 just around the corner, we're here to just give you a quick update with everything that's potentially going to be coming, dates, times, and keep you the most aware and the most available for the best times and the best things that you should be keeping an eye out for over the coming weekend and further week.
There's so much going on.
Yeah,
I'm mad.
I'm Ben, this is Charge Attack, and I'm here with a very, very sick Luke.
I'm dying.
So he's got a bit of a snuffly nose and a bit of a cough and a cold and the Black Plague, so he may not talk as much as you may want him to, or he may talk less than you want him to. But what we're going to do is just quickly go over everything. We'll try not to focus too much on everything because there is so much to go through, and we'll try and keep this episode flowing as well as possible. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. So E3 is coming this Friday. It starts realistically in the evening over in the Pacific time. It's going to be around about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It's going to be perfect, and they're going to start off with EA Play. Okay, so EA Play is starting on Friday, and it's going through to Sunday. Weirdly enough, they haven't showcased or talked too much about what's going to be there and what they're doing, but essentially what they're doing is an EA Play rather than an actual conference. So this is them going to be basically doing a load of live streams, showing off some games, showing off some of their new games in a less formal way than just sort of standing in front of a crowd and basically saying, this is what we're doing, and it's going to look amazing. You all caught up?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we've used the EA Play, so...
Yeah, well, this is going to be the time to shine. So what they've got is basically, like I said, is it does start on, it's supposed to essentially start on the Friday evening where they'll probably just be live streaming some games. And then on Saturday at 9:30 Pacific time, which is approximately 5:30 in British time, the better time, they are going to be showcasing some of these games, and it's in each in half an hour segments. So it's starting from 9:30 or 5:30 for us. It's going to be talking about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Then after that, it's going to be Apex Legends, then Battlefield 5, then FIFA 20, Madden 20, and then The Sims 4. Just a quick brief overview. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, what are you hoping for from this?
I want to see more actual gameplay, or some actual gameplay. We've seen the teaser trailer now, which is all sort of cutscenes and sort of CGI trailers. So I want to see a lot more in-depth gameplay. I want to see the combat, sort of everything like that. A bit more of the gaming environment, and just get a little bit more of this, because everything else looks good so far, but it has been very sort of
teaser-ish. Yeah, everything is still so teaser-ish that we do need to see some actual gameplay. Obviously, this is 99% chance we're going to see that gameplay here. I'm hoping that the gameplay is exactly like when we spoke about it in our other podcast, is that it is that gritty, more in-depth focused combat rather than just walking through, just slaying
It's
everything.
not a hack and slash, is it?
Yeah,
as they said, which is it's good to hear. So I want to see that now.
Yeah, I hope that they take that further, and that's something that I think I'll actually want to watch that. There's
a bit more story as well. What's the plot for this?
Yeah, a little bit more into the plot anyway.
Yeah.
This is I'm not a big fan of EA. I don't like a lot of their practices. I don't like the way that they monetize everything, but I have a little bit of hope left. I mean, it's the Star Wars. You have to sort of show more interest with it. It's regardless of who owns the rights to make the games for it. Even though EA are quite bad, I feel as if they do have the potential to make a good game if they really focus. So, holding out hopes there. Apex Legends.
It's another Battle Royale.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we're not the biggest fans of Battle Royales, mainly because we're too good for them. We get too fed up of winning every single game.
Yeah, that's definitely the reason.
No, we're crap. They'll probably announce a few new heroes, I reckon. They've got to bring something a little bit more to it, probably some new microtransactions and loot box systems that are going to be coming with it.
New seasons, they call it, with these. Don't they, like Fortnite is always going through different seasons and things, but it's just adding a different gun or giving it a different map setting or...
Yeah, I mean, they've only got the one map at the moment, which is nothing abnormal for the Battle Royales, but because Apex is quite a bit smaller and the teams are normally 60, they could add a whole new map. That would really change the game aspect up, because then you could be choosing your characters, you end up being on a map that you're not so familiar with. That'd be quite quite interesting and cool, and no one's done that yet. You want your game to stand out a little bit? There you go. For free, I've just told you, EA, how to make yourself stand out better.
And then they'll charge you for the privilege of having a second map to access. So
Yeah, they probably will. You'll probably have to pay for the season pass, and that only lets you borrow the map until the next season starts. Exactly. Battlefield 5, they've spoken a lot about their battle royale. They haven't really shown off too much of it yet. So that's going to be no doubt something that they will focus on showing during their live stream.
Yep.
Yeah.
Survival of the Call of Duties that are coming out. So
yeah, it's just more of their battle royale. They've got quite a cool system. I know they've got like a firewall that comes in rather than just sort of like a rounded circle. So if you're like when you're in like inside like this firestorm that you take like loads of damage, it seems like it's a little bit more, I'm going to say, epic. Like Battlefield always has that really cool aspect and look to it, but I seem to enjoy playing them less than the Call of Duties. But if you're
miss a trick, don't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But if you're a big Battlefield 5 fan and you're a big Battle Royale fan, then this is obviously something that you'll want to be keeping an eye on. FIFA 20 and Madden 20, nobody really cares. I mean, if you're a hardcore gamer that enjoys storyline and everything like that, these games probably aren't for you. But if you are somebody that follows FIFA and you are someone that follows the Madden games, they're there. There you go. I don't think there's really anything else we really need to say on that.
No, it's football.
They've also said that The Sims 4 is having... I know we said it a minute ago, but they're saying The Sims 4 is having its own live stream. I mean, that game's old now. Well, not old, but it's relatively old. Like
Definitely. It's definitely not new. They've released numerous expansions and packs and things.
So why they're showcasing this here, I don't know.
The last one that came out, the last one, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's quite a big expansion to the game. So for them to now mention something else at E3 must be an even bigger expansion going forward. But I can't even think what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, like the problem is like The Sims is a good graphical detail now. It's got all of its possibilities. They've released so many expansions now. It would be so dicky for them to just go, oh yeah, we're bringing out Sims 5 now. But you've just spent the best part of 150 quid on all of our expansions, but we're bringing out a new... I mean, that would definitely be an EA move.
Just say, let's look at the company that we're speaking about here. And
yeah, so I mean, like, it's just there. There's not been too much talked about it and whatnot. And like I said before, they're showcasing this on Friday evening to Sunday, but all of those games and everything we just spoke about there is from 9:30 or 5:30 onwards on Saturday. That still leaves Sunday. They've got a lot of time to show and live stream some games. It'll probably just be more information about the current ones, but you never know, they could surprise us with something. But something we did pick up on is we can't seem to find any information about Anthem.
that's there is none.
Well, see, Anthem needs something colossal to happen to it, because by the sounds of it, nobody's playing it anymore. Nobody wants to play it anymore. If you build a game up this much and then haven't done anything with it since, it's just...
It was pushed so hard. I remember seeing this game advertised in the cinema, and not many games make it to cinema advertisement to what I can think of. And then it literally just, everyone played it. It was great for a week, shall we say?
Yeah.
Generously. And then nothing.
Yeah, it's really weird when it's a games as a service. You'd expect sort of like a lot more pushing for it. Sort of like, well, if you missed out on the start of Anthem, you want to jump into it now because look what we've got coming out now. So it means people will pick it up. They're just not mentioning it at all for some reason. There might be something, like I said, they might showcase something, but the way it's looking at the moment is not good.
No, I think even if they do release something, I think a lot of people are done with it by now. It's
too little, too late.
Yeah, it'd have to be absolutely massive to warrant people coming back to this game, because it's a case of everyone's sort of finished with it. It wasn't there to start to keep them playing, and people are hard to go back to these sorts of games.
Yeah. So moving on swiftly, we have got the big one, Xbox, on Sunday the 9th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time, which for the British people, that'll be 9 o'clock in the evening. There is so much to talk about here that you might not get, and potential release. We've spoken a bit about this before, but what are you wanting from this?
This is Xbox opportunity to do a lot here.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they do, but I'm really scared they won't.
Yeah, I mean, especially with PlayStation and Sony out the door for this E3 event, a lot of focus has just shifted completely to Microsoft. So this is their one and potentially only chance to stand up and say, we're here. I can't really follow that up. You know what that normally follows up with. We're here. Everybody look at us and remember that we are still in this game and we can still do really well. So I'm hoping for them to showcase some unannounced titles. I'm sure they will do.
Well, with these 14 new studios,
exactly.
I want to hear a lot about what they're planning on doing with these, what sort of games we can look forward to coming out.
Yeah.
And if there's anything about a new console, that would be nice to get a little bit of information on. Not the sad console. But...
So just going back to the 14 new studios, is last year they bought a load of studios as well, and then obviously these are all a lot of smaller studios, which they hopefully will build up to make them bigger and better studios, help support those smaller independent gamers. I get the feeling they're just going to be showing a lot of smallish or smaller games or indie games, whatnot. They're not gonna knock loads of big things out of the park. Now, they will show Gears 5, a little bit more Gears 5. They will definitely do that.
Yep.
And Halo Infinite, they have to show some more of that. Give us one, a little bit of gameplay footage, and two, I just want to see some more of that art style.
Yeah, that's so unique from any of the other Halos.
Yeah.
They need to be getting that out quick.
Yeah, it's a large focus. It's something that's really strong for them. So they need to focus a lot on it. So going off of that, they need some more new first-party games as well.
Yep.
Because we can't just... At the moment, the only thing with Xbox, major-wise, Super AAA-wise, those are like the two main sort of focuses everybody has. It's Gears 5 and Halo Infinite. But Rare... Obviously, they've been doing Sea of Thieves. I'm still a bit sour. They're still doing Sea of Thieves, but could potentially they have a new IP from them? I mean, Banjo and Kazooie 3.
They need something.
What, Rare or Xbox?
No, Xbox. PlayStation have been owning the market on exclusives and things like that.
Yeah.
Xbox need to get something back. They can't keep relying on their old games that they've had done for years. All right, they're very good games for the most part, but they need new stuff.
Yeah, they need new stuff to be coming out and just showing more of what you can get with Xbox. And going off of that, and like we said, is that there is a potential for an announcement of their next gen console very soon. I think this is way too soon after the Xbox One X got released, so it's 1 year and 8 months or 7 months, depending on what sort of time scale that you look at.
Yeah.
It's very soon. I'm not a big fan of it, but the problem is if PlayStation are bringing out their console early next year, or say for example March next year or May next year, which I highly doubt they will, but Xbox are then on a very strict timescale because they don't have their own big, massive directs where they can announce their own things, or they don't do it yet. This could be something that they're working towards in the near future. If they don't have those sorts of capabilities, whereas PlayStation do, it could end up being that we won't hear about Xbox's next console until next year. And if you find out, say, for example, June next year at E3, saying, oh yeah, the new Xbox is coming out, the Xbox 2, or 361.
Xbox One, 2X.
Yeah, the Xbox X04 or something like that.
XOX.
You just like they're just so far behind on the game. There's just PlayStation are just ahead on everything at the moment, and they're such a struggle. So there's so, like we were saying, there's so much pressure for Xbox at the moment because they do need to be getting something way way more interesting out there, something super fun to talk about, and make us all interested in you. The problem is that PlayStation are ahead of the game. They've got all the fan base. They're doing everything correct in the eyes of somebody that actually wants to play video games and wants to play it in the most convenient and best way. So what are you going to do, Xbox? This is your chance, your one and only dying chance, because if you mess this up, I think this would be the year where if they mess this up big time, then it's all just going to come crashing down for them.
They can't afford to be a year behind on a console.
But they can't. But if they release it too soon, then the other problem that you're going to get is that people are going to be unhappy about the fact that they've just spent 450 quid on a new console, and within 2 years it's out of date.
Yeah, I've not long got my Xbox One X, and I'm maybe in a year's time or so I'll be ready for a new one, but I don't know, it feels too soon.
Yeah. So, 6 hours on from the Xbox conference on Sunday, we will then have the Developer Digital, which is basically they're supporting a lot of indie games and smaller companies, which is absolutely brilliant. They'll just show off a load of brand new, smaller stuff. There's loads of good potential with the indie games, and every single time that I see these indie games, they bring in new mechanics, new ways to play games, new ways to interact. They bring back classics in a new twist and a new spin, things that like you'd never get a AAA game that's just a simple side scroller. You just don't get that anymore. So these indie games normally pick them up and put a massive twist and massive bits of fun on it. So there's not really too much for us to say about that, because obviously it's all sort of a mystery, but that's something that you'll probably want to keep an eye on. Going on from that, we've then got Bethesda, which is going to be showcased on Sunday at 5:30 Pacific time, which is 1:30 in the morning, British Standard Time. Now, Bethesda have had a bit of a rough year last year with Fallout 76, and just everyone's attitude towards them is pretty much from there. It's just gone completely downhill. They're in such a bad situation with their fans. People are not happy with how that all went down, and then how they've treated them, and then their products that they've come out with afterwards, and yada 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 yada. It's not looking too great for them. However, they can, like always, there's always way to reverse damage done. So chances are what they'll talk about at this one is going to be updates to Fallout 76. It's going to be like expansions, more interactive people. Show us why we should want to come over to your game. It's only again, this game's only 7-8 months old. It's games as a service. Why should I wanting to be picking this game up? This is what they should be doing. If you're creating your game and saying that it's an ongoing serviceable game, make me want to come over and play it. Why aren't you doing that? It's just ridiculous.
I bought this game near release when it came out. I played it once for, let's say, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone back to it since.
Yeah. Have you heard any news about it since? Have you, without going out of your way trying to look for it, have you heard anything about this? No.
The friends that I have who've played it to full, they are at no point ready to sort of go back to it again.
Yeah.
They sort of played it and done. There seems to be no replayability to sort of explore further. I don't know what they did so wrong with this. How it went so wrong, I just can't understand. They had the basic principle of the good games from Fallout, and just seemed just applying it in the multiplayer, this open world aspect, just seemed to completely fall apart.
Yeah, so essentially what Bethesda has done there is they've taken a massive steaming dump on all of their fans, and quite honestly, nobody's happy about it.
The pre-order or the issues with all the equipment that came with it.
Yeah, the bonuses. Then people haven't, then they're saying that they're going to give people these canvas bags when they're actually made of canvas, not made of nylon. And then all of this still hasn't been, sorted. Oh, it's just they are ridiculous. And this is what I'm saying is that if this is your main stage time, make people want to go to you and come out with a smile is probably going to be their struggle. I mean, EA is bad, but everybody knows that they're bad, so people will go into them going, sort of like, oh well,
We know we're going to get
we
burned.
know we're not going to get
yeah.
burned, and or things are going to be a little bit disappointing, sort of thing. But Bethesda are not normally used to this. People are really happy with Bethesda normally, so they could do something. They need to do something.
Yeah,
Need to do something fun.
They've got to get it right first time.
Yeah.
And just then keep going from there. Just try and put the all the fuck ups behind them.
Yeah.
But
It's not.
They're on a bit of a bad streak at the moment, so we're not going to hold out too much hope.
Yeah. Bethesda will also probably show some more information and updates to Elder Scrolls Online. Again, one of those products that a lot of people do like it. However, most of the people that I know that owned it, they were a little bit disappointed with it. But it's one of those games where once you're into it and you're hooked, you will continuously play it. If you're not hooked, you're just never going to enjoy it at all.
I couldn't get hooked. I liked it, but as soon as I stopped playing, there was never that
urge to get you back in.
to it. Yeah, it was.
No, that's the problem with like online MMO RPGs and things like that. Is if you haven't got that hook relatively early on, chances are you're never going to get that hook. And if you don't get that hook, you're in trouble, because that's what the whole game is about, is getting you hooked. Doom Eternal, they've showcased loads of this already. It looks good, it looks great. I'm glad for them. I'm not a massive Doom fan. I'm not a big fan of the way Bethesda's aiming system works in games. I find it really, really jolty, I'm going to say.
I haven't played Doom since the PC back in like the early 2000s, I don't think.
Then this may be the Doom for you. It looks like it's going back to its sort of roots. There's nothing to be unhappy about, sort of thing. They're doing well. But the big thing that Bethesda should be announcing after last year, where they showed just a small snippet of the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer, we should see some more Elder Scrolls 6 footage now.
They do that well. Well, they might not do it perfectly. They do that well, so...
Yeah, as long as they don't lie to all their fans and then promise them this and promise them that. It's...
Just make a good game. Don't worry about these pre-order things and shit like that. Just get a good game out.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like, I know we were just talking about it just then. If Bethesda want to make sure that they gain all of their respect back from fans, make a really good Elder Scrolls 6, make it super great, and then go back to the classic ways of going, okay, here is our game, this is our masterpiece, here you go.
Love us, please.
Like us again, and then just don't add any of the crap that comes with it. I mean, loads of people still play Skyrim, loads of people still love Skyrim, so why can't you recreate that? So just avoid your microtransactions, avoid trying to get as much money out of people as possible. And I would say, if you want your company to succeed at this point, where things are going really, really bad, then you need to be doing something drastic like that. And it may mean that you lose out the main boss of Bethesda, who takes home probably the best part of about 50 mil a year or whatever. He may miss out on an extra 5 mil, but it means that everybody else in the world will prefer his company, and further down the line will invest more into them, potentially. Exactly. I mean, loot box buying people, sometimes they have way too much money to spend. So Bethesda, that's one to keep an eye out for. On Monday, the 10th, at 10 o'clock in the morning and Pacific time, which is 6 o'clock in the evening British time, we have the PC gaming show. Are you a big PC gamer, Luke?
I used to be when I had my tower all set up, but I didn't play masses of games on it.
No.
Just because, I don't know, it felt like such a massive and bulky device just to play a game on, which I didn't really feel like I had any... It wasn't doing anything differently to what my sort of consoles were doing, so I never really sort of got the hype. The hype.
So we're not massive PC gamers. I mean, I personally can really appreciate that when people say that the PC Master Race and everything like that, whilst they are scum, they are in a certain essence right. If you can play a game on console or on PC, you're going to make it look and run a lot better on PC, and all of your gadgets and everything is going to be much smoother, and it's going to make the game potentially run better. That's not necessarily what I love about gaming and whatnot, so it doesn't quite suit my fancy. But PC gaming show will probably show you some more future tech and what's available and how well you're going to be able to run your Minecraft now and
Oh, that game.
and Tiberian Sun, because by the looks of it, most PC gamers, they bloody just play the same 3 games over and over again. Your Steam account may have 600 games in it, but it's the same 3 games that you're always playing. It's always the same. So showing more future tech, what else is available? Intel, the super industrial i28 processor that they're now going to be bringing out. I know obviously that's definitely not the next stage. I believe they're up to i10 or 11 now. I'm so lost on it now. And then you've obviously got new graphics cards will be announced, what they're capable of. They will showcase some of the most beautiful games that you will ever see. I reckon it will look incredible what you can do with a PC that you can't do with a console. So it's always interesting to see what's possible and what essentially the consoles will be caught up to in about 2 or 3 years' time.
I can only see so well anyway without my glasses. There's really no point me investing all these fancy things and all that on PC because I'm only going to see it so well myself anyway.
Yeah. I'm half blind, so it doesn't really make a difference how good the game looks. They've also said that there is going to be some new PC games announced and one major unannounced game is going to be brought out. So definitely Half-Life 3. It won't be Half-Life 3.
But you're sure it's going to be though.
It will be Half-Life 3, but it won't be Half-Life 3. I mean, there's a potential chance. It's been so long they know that everybody wants it. I mean, by this point, it's just too funny of a meme. Just if they actually announce Half-Life 3, I feel as though like half the world is just going to be just sort of like, oh, well, we can't joke about it anymore.
I think it'd be too risky. I think if they made it now, everyone would potentially, if it was bad, they'd be so disappointed. It would be, the damage would be irreversible. So almost better just keeping that. Will it be? Will it be?
Yeah, well, chances are it won't be there, so we don't need to worry about it.
If made it, they'll make it.
The only other game it could be potentially is Starship Citizen. Is that what it's called? You don't even know what I'm talking about.
Galactica?
No, you don't know what I'm talking about. Like,
Ugly.
But basically, it's unannounced. It could be anything. We're not massive PC gamers, so we don't know 100%. So if you know, you tell us. Yeah. That sounds like the way that this should go. After that, on Monday, we have got Ubisoft, which is at 1 o'clock Pacific time, which is 9 o'clock in the evening at British Standard Time. This is no doubt going to show Rainbow Six Siege, some more updates, some more characters, more maps, more interesting gunplay, who can do what, show you all the things that you missed out, probably more of an update on the esports and how well that's doing and what it's doing to help push that, which is great. I'm not, again, they're great games. I've played them, they're great fun. It's there and it's just more content, and normally they push it out for free, so
that's unheard of these days of the gaming industry.
Yeah, I can't take you seriously while you've got a blooming massive tissue stuffed up your nose. They'll obviously talk more about the Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And then, hopefully, they're going to show some more Beyond Good and Evil. I mean, for the past 2 years, they've shown some footage and shown everything that's coming out. I don't think we'll see a release date just yet. I think that's too near the end of the gaming console generation. We're getting too close to the next gen. I think they're going to hold out for just one more year. They're just going to show you a little bit more. And then they're going to say, new info coming in 2020 to basically just say to you, yeah, just get ready, it is coming out. I think next year will be the year for that. You're not a big fan of...
I watched the trailer, like the second game trailer for the first time today, earlier on, and I didn't have a clue what was going on.
Yeah.
I did not expect these monkey and pig people at all in this sort of futuristic, sort of slum-looking place.
I just think that game looks so cool. I didn't even play the first one. I think this game looks cool.
I know absolutely nothing about it, and I watched the trailer and I still don't. So I will keep a closer eye now going forward, because I am sort of like curious to find out what the hell it's all about.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird monkey robots. I don't know.
Also coming with Ubisoft will no doubt show some more of the Assassin's Creed coming out this year, because this is the end of the trilogy.
Going to be the end for good?
No.
Kill it.
No, some some couple of 100,000 or some couple of million actually still buy Assassin's Creed year on year. I don't know why. I've played too many of them and only enjoyed very little of them.
That game, those games, I've so many times have I tried with all the latest ones when they're coming out, and every time I was like, this is not Assassin's Creed anymore.
You played Origins, didn't you?
I played Origins.
Did you play Odyssey, which came out last year?
Nope, I was done by then.
You're done by then. That's it, I quit.
The main three, 1, 2, and 3. Those were the best ones.
Yeah.
Then Revelations, that one sort of stung a bit. It started to drift off. Then we had Assassin's Creed
Unity.
No, what was the one with you play as the Native American? That might have been 3 actually, because we had Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2, and then we had Brotherhood, which is the
Black
first
Flag.
3. Then we had Black Flag, which was we had the ships were integrated into the third one, and then a few people obviously liked the idea of it, so they built a whole game on it, and I hated the ships, so that game was and you weren't an assassin, you're just a guy who just picked up an assassin's armor off the floor, and suddenly you do all his shit. No, not the fucking point of an assassin. And then it just continued, people... They just seem to just lose, and you're an Egyptian in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. You're not an assassin, you're just sort of just creeping around the place. It doesn't make you an assassin. And then you got Roman assassins now.
You're not at all upset with this series then?
I loved the first sort of 3 that came out, and I really enjoyed them. 100%ed them so many times. But now every time I look at it, I'm just like, this is not the game that you started out with in any aspect. I appreciate games have got to progress and develop, but what the was this?
Right, well, with that rant over, and we're supposed to be going through this relatively quickly, Assassin's Creed will no doubt be shown at this E3 for coming out later on this year, just in time for the holiday season. Luke will probably not be buying it. I'm going off of that tone, but I mean, a lot of people like him. As Odyssey did quite well. I mean, compared to prior installments.
Origins.
I mean, at least it worked, I think, is probably what the thing that was working well there.
Those games have come out broken so many times.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to move on from it. I mean, hopefully this time they'll put less microtransactions into it, because somehow they still manage to, but we all know that's not going to happen because they make so much money. The only other thing I reckon that they'll be there is potentially like a new Rayman game. It's been a little while now. They could pull out a new one, something to bring onto the late of this gen, get enough people into it. They're relatively fun games. They're quite simple.
I like Rayman. Rayman Legends was good.
They didn't do anything too badly. The big dog, the big kahuna, 6 o'clock on Monday is Square Enix. So that's 6 o'clock in the evening at Pacific time, and then 2 o'clock in the morning for British Standard Time. I'll tell you right now, I will be staying up for that. Will you be staying up for that? No, because you'll have work in the morning, won't you?
Yes.
You're rubbish. There's been a mass hype just been mounted for Square Enix. There is so much going on their books. I mean, last year there was so much that they could have talked about, but they did the worst show ever. I've never been so disappointed for an E3 announcement than I was with Square Enix last year, and they're my favourite gaming company. There is so much that they need to talk about. There's so much that they need to cover. The big major ones, which I'm sure you're going to be all aware about, is Final Fantasy VII Remake. They've said that more news is coming in June. I mean, that pretty much points to E3. So that's pretty much definitely there. And then they've even announced saying that Marvel Avengers will be there. Again, I completely understand that. It's something that they have shown a couple of years ago and they're not done anything about. It's, especially now that the Marvel series is dying out a little bit because
the
of
Avengers
Endgame.
has that sort of stories ran its course. So
yeah, but we'll quickly just go over what else is available. So Crystal Chronicles, they announced that will be coming out on Switch, and then it'll have online play. That's really cool. They need to give an update. They need to give a release date, which they should do during this E3 press conference. That'll be really cool. Our other colleague, friend, sorry.
Wow.
Our other friend, Elliot, which you would have heard on the second ever podcast, but we'll also be back next week to do an E3 follow-up podcast. He seems to think that Final Fantasy XIV will be on Switch. You've got nothing to say with that.
What's led him to this? Hypotheses.
These hypotheses. Because it's coming from a PC game, like you can have obviously lower visual settings and whatnot, so it means the Switch will be able to run it. Final Fantasy XIV is still constantly having expansions, so it's still an open and going well game. They're doing really well, and it would be great to get it onto the Switch, and it's attracting a whole new market. So
Makes sense.
It's plausible. I didn't even think about that when he said that. I was like, yeah, fair enough, I'll give you credit for that. But that's just a possibility that could potentially be there. Fall of Babylon was shown last year, made by Platinum Games. Didn't show any proper gameplay. It looked quite interesting, but again, they showed like a minute sort of trailer where it didn't actually show anything. So I'd like to hear more about that. Give me some more of that. I'm interested. Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC they need to show as well. Kingdom Hearts 3 is now, 4 months old, 5 months old. I'm still a little bit sour about that as well. So they need to bring out their DLC, show us a little bit more. Let us know what your DLC is going to entail. It'll probably just be a whole world. And I get the feeling they're not going to execute it as well as they could do, or they'll just show you the whole world in trailers before you actually get to play it, and then there'll be no point you playing it.
Ruin it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they did with Kingdom Hearts 3 itself. And then potentially Final Fantasy VIII might be coming out as a remaster. I'm guessing you're not aware of this, Luke. They've done a re-release for Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy XII. They've just forgotten about 8. There's been loads of rumours as to why in the history.
We discussed this before, didn't we?
Yeah, people seem to think that it's due to the fact that they haven't got the correct files for it, or they haven't been able to save it. Yada yada yada. There's a million reasons as to why. Basically, Square Enix haven't come out and said outright what the reason is, so you don't really know.
Creating want and demand.
Yeah, it depends. Lots of people still love Final Fantasy VIII, and everyone's asking for it. So this would be a good time for them to just go, yeah, we've got it. And even if it is just a nice, simple remaster that basically just sharpens the corners a little bit, makes it play really well and smoothly, that's all they really need, isn't it? On the latest cons.
Yeah.
On the latest consoles. So yeah, but just going back to it, Final Fantasy VII Remake, you're not really that wise on it, so
nothing.
You know nothing. I'm expecting a Tifa reveal, so they'll actually show what she looks like, and we then get to place bets on whether her bosom is bigger or smaller. Then I don't think it could get actually any bigger than it's already been shown to be, but most of the time Tifa's just got humongous jugs, so I think it'd be quite cool if they toned it down just a little bit and made it.
Not where I thought you were going with that sentence at all. I was waiting for. I want to see how far they can push this bitch before she snaps.
Yeah, it would be just like Tomb Raider, where in every single installment she's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. They're gonna have a reveal for that, and I think
or a tits.
Yeah, it will be is just like a full on zoom into her chest, and it just slowly zooms out, and it's just like her breasts are the centre.
You just won't see her; she'll just be like a pair of like semi-levitating tits.
Yeah, they'll be like, "This is our Tifa reveal." She'll be revealed at E3, no doubt. I think this will be the perfect time for it. And then what'll happen is they'll probably, if we're lucky, they'll give a release date for episode 1.
They might just like say coming fall or something.
Yeah,
they like to do that, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, Square Enix have never been reliable with their release dates and times anyway. So I mean, it's possible to see it near the end of this year. I'm still thinking early next year, or
with 7
even
in the works.
Either that, or what they'll do is they'll just turn around and just say, this is going to be coming out on on the new PlayStation. Or they say new information going to be shown in November, and then when it gets to November, PlayStation will do a direct. PlayStation will do their state of play, where they'll basically go, this is our new console, and coming out on this new console will be Final Fantasy Episode 1. There's not really too much else to say about the Final Fantasy 7 remake. It's just, there's so much that they can do, and there's so much that they can show, that it's going to be...
to see it now.
It's just need to see it. And there's not... and I shouldn't be talking this long about it, because we already have. Coming up on Tuesday is Nintendo, and this is at 9 o'clock Pacific time and 5 o'clock British Standard Time, so that's 5 o'clock in the evening. Whew, this is another big one. They're going to obviously show updates to Animal Crossing. You an Animal Crossing fan?
Absolutely not. I'm not a 13-year-old girl.
Don't say that. There's a lot of 50-year-old men that love that game.
I don't understand why.
It's not my cup of tea, but I can see the appeal. Right, okay, I've done. With that look, I'm going to guess not.
My sister stopped playing Animal Crossing because she said it was boring.
Who said that?
My sister.
Yeah, okay.
And she was like 11 at the time.
But does your sister play video games a lot in her life?
She used to on a DS.
Well, what does she know then? So with that, there'll no doubt be some more information, I reckon, on Luigi's Mansion 3 coming to Switch.
I didn't know there was a second one.
That was on 3DS. That was one of the games that I showcased when I worked for Nintendo.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How did you showcase it?
I played it while I gave kids other DSs to play other games. They'll no doubt show some more Pokemon Sword and Shield, just a little bit more information, I reckon. Not too much, just a couple more Pokemon, because they've already just had the Direct today.
We had a lot today, so...
Yeah, they don't want to, overkill it, which is cool.
Faint.
Faint?
You don't kill in Pokemon, you only faint.
That's just so... You make me sour. They've got, obviously, the next DLC fighter for Smash Bros. They could announce it. There's lots of speculation as to what people seem to think it's going to be. People seem to think that they've already predicted it, but I think that their predictions are wrong. I reckon what they're going to announce during this is going to be some sort of Japanese game-related character. So, say, for example, maybe Squall from Final Fantasy VIII to keep the Final Fantasy VIII fans
Nah, it's
happy.
going to be the guy from Death Stranded.
No, the baby.
Oh god!
It could be the guy from Death Stranding, and he uses the baby in the jar as his melee attacks. So whips
just
people with
swinging it on a
just
chain.
swinging the baby around.
Oh god!
His ultimate is just releasing the baby, and he just walks over and just beats people up. There's a lot of speculations to who that could be.
Please let that be the case.
Elliot did also say that he reckons it's going to be from Dragon Quest, the main character. So that's a cool possibility. Anything that you're wanting from Nintendo?
Nintendo, you know what I want from Nintendo.
Well, I may know what you want. Does anybody listening to this want to know?
It's gone past the point of want now. I need something on Bayonetta 3.
Yep.
We've discussed this before. It is time, Nintendo.
Just do it.
Just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
Please. It's gone so far now, and we had just had that little teaser a while ago, like 30 seconds long. It's been ages since the second one came out, and we're ready. The world is ready for Bayonetta 3.
Your body is ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to submit myself. So that's a possibility. I mean,
anything,
they know...
even if it's just a little bit more of just a little snippet. Just let us know it's still in the works, because
it'll probably be like Switch bongos or something like that. Switch music where you have to play the drums, sing into the microphone.
Donkey Konga, no.
Yeah, they won't announce Bayonetta 3, but Donkey Konga remake will come out.
I don't need that. That's not what's going to make me happy. Bayonetta 3 is the only thing. It's my favourite game ever.
Okay.
Bayonetta 3 is to me what your Final Fantasy 7 is. So
no, it's not that big of a burning fire within you.
You don't know that.
Have you got a tattoo on your body with it?
I intend to.
Well, intending to is not quite that devoted, is it? There's potential for Metroid Prime 4. They did announce at the beginning of the year that there has been major delays with it and that they're changing the creators and whatnot. So it's highly unlikely, but it's a possibility there. They could just showcase what they're working with to make sure people are happy with it. That would be quite cool. But last of all is Nintendo have been saying that they want to go more into the mobile market, make sure that they get their mobile games coming out. And we have spoken about it before, that Mario Kart Tour got leaked. So potentially more Mario Kart Tour, or its official announcement here. No.
No.
Don't
want it.
Just
Bernard.
We don't think it's going to be there because we personally don't want it.
Yeah.
That's exactly how
if
these
I
things
will it
work.
hard enough, the universe will listen.
There's a couple of mobile games coming out for Pokemon, like we discussed in our last podcast as well. There's always a potential for more of them to come out.
There's
or them
always
to
be
show.
something Pokemon from Nintendo at one of these things.
Yeah, the new Pokemon condom or something like that. The awkward silence makes it worse.
I was thinking of the practicality of it.
The practicality. Like, do you have protection? Yes. Like, place like a Charizard card
That's
next
an
to the
old
bed.
meme.
Exactly.
But like, will they flavour them?
We're not going to go down that route. And
that's too weird.
Yeah, you're weird now. So that's for the most part. That's what you've got really coming up. So just to go over them quite quickly again, is you've got EA Play on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You've got Xbox on Sunday, Bethesda on Sunday. Then you've got the PC Gaming Show on Monday. Ubisoft on Monday, Square Enix on Monday evening. Make sure you put that in your calendars, that's important. Nintendo on Tuesday, that's sort of important.
How dare you?
How dare you? To conclude all of this, you've also got E3 Coliseum, which is from the 11th to the 13th. And essentially, they just showcase, and it's a lot of developer interaction with the crowd where people, like, it's their own stage. It's not like a massive conference, but it's their own stage where they can interact and show people
Q&As and panels.
Yeah, those sorts of things. And they've got a few things going on. So what I've just done is just pointed out some of the major things that they're going to be talking about and showing. So say, for example, on the 11th at 10 o'clock, they've got some details about Gears 5. 12:30 Dying Light 2, 1 o'clock Marvel Avengers, so
yes.
Showcasing what Square Enix will talk about the day before. Call of Duty at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Doom Eternal at 4 o'clock. That is all the Pacific times. So obviously if you want the English times, it's just 8 hours on. So obviously it just starts from 6 going all the way up until 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm so glad I got that done and put that correctly. On the 12th, they have at 10 o'clock CD Projekt Red, Xbox at 3 o'clock, and Psychonauts 2, which is really cool. I like Psychonauts 1. Did you ever play it?
I'm afraid no.
Just get out. Psychonauts is great. That'd be perfect. That'd be good to hear what that's been doing recently. That's at 6 o'clock on the 12th. And then on the 13th, there's a load of random spots which haven't been filled yet, and they haven't announced what they're talking about. So the only real notable one there was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They had the Outer Worlds. Sweet. All happy?
Until I get a Bayonetta 3 now.
No, okay, that's fine. And make sure that you feel well so you can actually talk.
That Bayonetta 3 will make me feel better.
You can tell them that. You can sway them with that. It's just sort of like, I've been crucially ill because of your unannouncement.
Yeah, wounded.
So there's loads of potential coming up over the next couple of days. It seems like a lot of people need to do repair work rather than...
Yeah, which isn't a good sign because they might panic and fuck up even more.
I mean, it's completely possible with EA. They
Looking
do
at
it,
Bethesda
they do it
here.
Yeah, they do it every year. So there's so much going on. The main ones that I'm looking forward to is definitely going to be Square Enix, Microsoft, and Nintendo. I'm not too bothered about Bethesda. I don't think they're going to pull anything marvellous out of their bum. I don't think they can save themselves. The other ones are all just sort of throwaways, just sort of like, they're interesting, but I'm not going to be staying up for them. But Xbox, I have to see what they're going to do because it's too interesting to not
They've
see.
got to.
If they'd released their Xbox One X a year earlier and they didn't have such a bad rep with all of their first party games at the moment, I would be sort of a little bit more Just sort of like, Xbox is doing it. But at the moment, because they're in such a weird corner, I am at the point where I'm just sort of like, I need to see this because
they must have a bombshell ready, and I really hope they do. But
yeah,
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, isn't Google Stadia meant to be at E3 at some point as well? We couldn't find a time.
They can't wait, apparently, to E3.
They can't wait at all for E3, but we couldn't find a proper official time.
But they will wait until like a few days before to do it.
Maybe they're just gonna like announce them. They're saying that we can't wait for E3, as in like they're not even at the event. They're just gonna do their own sort of like their own showcase or direct.
Exactly.
But because they've got such a bad rep already. Like we were saying, it's a little too late, Stadia. You've done nothing since you first announced your console. I'm gone, I'm finished, I don't really care. Unless you can do something like steal all of the best first-party games and put them all on your system and tell everybody else that you can to F off and that we've got it all.
I don't
Unless
get
you're
it.
doing that. But then if they did that, though, then I probably wouldn't be very
The little teaser video they released, it can't wait to E3. It's a few days before, and it's been absolute radio silence up until this point. It is obviously a marketing ploy to just try and steal the attention of everyone else. So I don't think it's going to work in that case.
No.
Sony have got a better chance of doing something than that.
I was going to say, we're talking about stealing the spotlight off of other people. Obviously, with PlayStation and Sony not being at E3, how do you think they're going to react to all of this?
They could either sort of just watch from afar and judge in silence, or they're going to do something massive with that. They've done this quite a bit with their sale. So everyone's going to be like, ooh, picking up bargains on the day.
Yeah, so with their days of play sale, we're looking at it, and some of the offers are they're just going like, reduced costs of PlayStation VR, reduced cost of PlayStation exclusive games, as if like basically saying to you, you're looking at all of these other companies and what they're releasing, but just remember that with our company, we've already got this and this and this, and tell you what, just because you're looking at these other companies, we'll give it to you for a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
They are so smug, and they're just doing so well. They can do no wrong in a certain sense.
I will not be surprised if sort of the morning of E3 when it all starts to kick off, they will announce something big while they're there. Like, they'll be starting their own sort of live stream and whatnot midway through it.
It'll just be like, just out of the blue, just thought I'd let you guys know. PlayStation 5 details are going to be coming out soon, so all your journalists that are at E3, you can either focus on Xbox, which potentially could be nothing, or get the latest PS5 news.
Exactly.
Oh, they could be so horrible, couldn't they? They are in such a good position.
But it makes sense, because, I mean, what's the point of releasing all this information when everyone else is releasing all this information? You potentially could get lost in a sea of other stuff. So by them doing it separately, they potentially have more of a better chance of it landing with more people.
Yeah. What's your dream results from this? What would be the best thing that they could say, announce and do? Besides, obviously, giving everything for free for everybody.
A full Bayonetta trailer and release date 3.
Yeah.
If I got that, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just melt.
You might heal. That's what you're saying.
I would insta heal. Yeah.
You would insta heal. I do.
Obviously, yours is 7.
Yeah, but they're already. That's not really. It's not really a dream if it's already coming. I mean, I am looking forward to Final Fantasy 7. Don't get me wrong. I have all the faith in the world at the moment. I think they're going to do a good job. However, I do have this inkling of a feeling that somewhere down the line they're going to mess something up.
Oh dear.
And that's why I'm just not thinking it's a dream. I think for me, a real cool dream, something that would be really interesting and fun to see, is I think to get Metroid Prime 4, some more information of that out. And also the new potential Switch consoles, because obviously, like they've admitted, Nintendo have said that they're working on new Switch consoles and upgrades or downgrades or whatnot, but they did say that they weren't talking about it this year, or they weren't talking about it around June. It would be a bit of a dream if they came out with these, because I've seen some new redesigns for Switch consoles. They look beautiful, some of them. Even what fan-made ones can do. So it's something that potentially we could look forward to. But what do you know?
Nothing yet.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for E3. So
now.
if you are listening, There's your schedule. It'll be up on the screen as well if you are watching via YouTube. And hopefully we get nothing but great announcements. We'll keep you updated on Twitter. And we'll speak to you, well, tomorrow, because we're doing another podcast for the week tomorrow.
For our standard weekly one, yeah. E3's got us working twice as hard.
Oh, god damn, work. How could they? Right, well, have a lovely day. Have a lovely evening, day, morning, afternoon. It depends what you're doing.
And pray for Bayonetta 3.
And pray for Luke's health and return.
No, Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3 for both.